Gonna keep this one short and sweet. This is a flashlight review for the new Thrunite TN12 Pro. This torch throws off a tremendous amount of light, and not only that, it gets real hot. In this episode, we're going to unbox and check out the new TN12 Pro by Thrunite. So this is the first time I've seen this new light. Disclaimer, do not attempt anything I'm going to show you with this thing. This light could be a fire hazard if not used correctly. Here it is, the TN12 Pro LED flashlight. What's it telling me here? Just to screw down the cap. Okay, yeah, screw down the headlight and the tail cap before using, because they ship them by unscrewing them so that the light won't turn on in the box. So once we do that, we can remove the sticker. Here is the light. It can be turned on and off by pushing the button on the front, and like all of them, when you press and hold, it goes through the different power modes. There's 3 power modes, as you can see: low, medium, and high. There's also will be a turbo. If you press the button on the back, it'll put it in turbo mode, which is very bright. So to compare the difference, I'll put it on high. There's medium, there's high, and if I press the tail cap, turbo is much brighter. High, turbo. Comes with a case and hand strap, as all of the lamps do. I've been using these Thrunite lights here for a number of years. They're great to have. I've always got one on my bench. Got them in my headlight on my at work, and it comes with a couple extra O-rings as well, which is always good to have in case you damage an O-ring. And these work sometimes pretty good as belts too. So keep the O-rings. Also comes with a spare button. This is for the light under the button here to seal it up. So it comes with spare hardware so that if it were to be damaged, you've got a replacement right out of the box. I'm just going to put the hand strap on, and then I'm just waiting for it to get dark, and we'll take this out and we'll see how it performs. We'll thread the hand strap in now. Before then, we're going to see what things we can destroy, because in turbo mode there's a huge amount of light, or a huge amount of heat thrown out the front with the light. I was quite amazed at how hot this LED gets and throws the heat out front. And you'll see we're going to melt some stuff with this. This thing gets hot. It also comes with a USB-C charging cable, because this one is charged by USB-C, as all of the newer lights are. And it comes also with, of course, a belt clip and a belt holster. And this is a spare cover for the USB charge port. So it comes with all the spare parts you're going to need in case you lose anything. So we'll put that away so that I can file it and proceed to lose it. Let's check the battery out that comes with the flashlight. So it comes with an 18650 3400 milliamp hour. This is a integrated overcharge protection. It's a high performance battery made exclusively for the Thrunite lamps. Those O-rings that I was showing you, the spares, there's one here and there's another one up top here. That makes them completely waterproof. I think they're... I was going to take this and plug it in and get it charging so that it's fully charged when we take it out, because I haven't charged it up yet. But let's take a look at our specs on here. So the output is 1900 lumens on turbo mode, and then it drops down to 477 lumens, and it'll run for 7 minutes on turbo plus 130 minutes on the 477 lumen mode. In high, it will run for 2.5 hours. So in this mode, high, it'll run for 2.5 hours. And low, it will run for 46 hours. So there, low, 46 hours. Medium is 9 hours. And high is 2.5 hours. Firefly mode, it'll run for 37 days, and strobe, it'll run for 4.5 hours. As a distance, it'll throw 380 meters. Output is 36,000 CDs. Maximum impact resistance is 1.5 meters, and is waterproof up to 2 meters. Has a power indicator that lights up through the power key here. Flashing red tells you it needs to be recharged, and it's between 1 and 10%. Red is 11 to 20%, and 21 to 100% is blue. As with all of these high-powered lights, don't point it in someone's eyes. You can certainly cause retinal damage. They are bright enough that they can cause eye damage. So, yeah, these ones here, because it's a high-intensity device, do keep it away from don't point it in your face, in other words. And on high power, it will put out a lot of heat. So it could be possible that the heat created from this thing could ignite paper, because these do put out a lot of heat. It's starting to smoke. I may even ignite this paper if I'm not careful. Oh, it's starting to go. It's starting to go. I may start a fire. So you got to be careful with these things, because these do put out a lot of heat. I think I'm going to stop it at this point before I actually start a fire. But if we look at the paper, you can see that the paper was starting to scorch. I pointed at a banknote for a few seconds, and this is one of our polymer banknotes. Yeah. I just burned a hole in a bill. I want to see what happened if I shine this into an old CD. It's getting hot. It's getting real hot. Imagine that. This is an old CDR, but there's so much heat coming off this thing, it's going to actually probably melt the plastic. This just doesn't play, by the way. That's why I'm doing this. I wouldn't be doing this on a disc that was any good. But the heat is so intense, and it did. It melted the CD. The heat off of this is pretty intense. That's ridiculous. These LEDs, these new LEDs, throw off so much heat. Like it. Like it hurts. It's so hot. I can't get over how much heat is thrown off. That's how intense this thing is. It's just unbelievable. That's insane. That's just a beam of light coming off this flashlight. It's just ridiculous how intense this thing is. That it's heating up the case. You know, it's black, so obviously it's going to attract the heat and the light. But you wouldn't be doing this for very long, because the entire flashlight itself is getting warm. Like the entire body. This is very well heat sinked. And the actual LED driver, it's this whole entire aluminum body, this is hot now to the touch. Like I can barely hold on to it. It's only been running for a couple of minutes. That's why the limit is 7 minutes. And after 7 minutes, it'll shut down and go to a lower power setting. Because otherwise, first of all, you'd probably overheat the battery. You'd overheat the LED, but it's just nuts the kind of power this thing puts out. Anyway, I'm going to top the battery up on this thing, because I'm sure I've probably almost run it down. Well, I haven't run it down, but I'm sure that I've taken some of it down here. We're going to top up the battery, and then I'm going to take this up and we're going to show it off in the park when it gets dark. It's not quite dark yet, so it'll give me half an hour or so to top up the battery, and then we'll take it out and try it out. Okay, we're going to do a comparison here. I've got two lights with me. So the first one we're going to look at is the original TN12, and then the second one is the TN12 Pro. I'm going to set them both to just their lowest setting. So this is the TN12, set at its lowest setting. And this is the TN12 Pro at its lowest setting. You can see the difference between the two of them. We go up to the next setting up, medium, and medium, and high. And there's the high. The Pro is on the right, the regular one's on the left. And those are both the high settings. Now, we're going to go into turbo in a minute. So this is the TN12. This is a 2016 model. So there's the TN12, and there's the TN12 Pro. You can see that they have a little bit different beam pattern. Now, if we go to, this is actually, I think this is turbo that I'm in now. So there's turbo. So that's the TN12. As you can see, the high setting on the Pro is already brighter than the original that it replaced. Now, I'll go into, just dropped it. I'll go into turbo now, and you can see how much brighter this is and how far this light actually throws. Right down into the depth of the park. It's quite amazing how far this thing throws in the distance. So there's the original TN12 on maximum power, and here is the TN12 Pro. I got the number right on this. Yeah, TN12 Pro. And you can see that it is quite the light as far as throwing out a good beam. We can see everything if I zoom the camera in. I don't even know where I'm pointing the camera at this point. As you can see, I'm zoomed in way down into the dark areas of the park, and we're able to pick up that tree in the background. Pretty amazing from such a small light. It really throws. If I turn it off, just so you can see, like it's pretty much pitch black out here. Still a little bit of light in the sky because the sun is down, but still a bit of reflection off the clouds. But for all intents and purposes, it's dark. Right? These are the lights from the building itself. So if we look down here, off to the side of the building where it's dark, I'll throw the light down here. You can see, light up the trees in the background and so forth. Mosquitoes are out. But that's a good couple hundred yards that we're looking out there. All the bugs are starting to be attracted to this light. It's ridiculous how powerful this thing is. And it's starting to warm up too. Like I can feel the heat now starting to conduct through the metal body. It's got a pretty good heat sink on it. But it'll run for 7 minutes at this power level before switching down to a lower power. But I doubt very much whether you'd be able to hang on to this thing for the full 7 minutes because it's going to get pretty warm. The light itself, where the lamp is, I can barely touch that part at this point. The body of the lamp is starting to warm up, or the body of the flashlight is starting to get a little bit warmer now. The actual driver portion is now at a temperature which is quite warm. I can barely hang on to it for more than a few seconds. Keep in mind the turbo mode is for intermittent use. You're not going to run the flashlight in turbo mode constantly, and that's why the 7-minute time limit. High is more than enough for general use. Turbo is just for that extreme. But as you can see, it's a very powerful concentrated light. but not a huge light like some of the throwers, which are massive. This one here is quite a small, convenient light to use. I'm going to shut this down here as I'm getting eaten alive. But just wanted to give you guys a quick look at the TN12 Pro. And if I put the other one on by comparison, there's the old one on to the right. That's the old TN12, the previous model, and this is the new one. As you can see, it's much brighter. Much brighter. Okay, I think I'm going to finish this one up now as the bugs are coming out in big time. Other ways to get to turbo besides pushing the tail power switch, which puts you into turbo mode immediately. If you double click the button, when you tap the power button, it will return to the whatever mode it was in last. If you double click it, it'll go to turbo mode, and if you triple click it, it'll go into a strobe mode. To enter firefly mode, you press and hold, and that'll enter firefly mode, which is a very low output level. There's also a lockout mode on here. When you're in firefly mode, press and hold the side switch to enter the lockout mode. Press and hold, now it's locked out, so nothing will turn it on. If you want to double lock it out, click the tail cap. Now you can't exit the firefly mode unless you click the tail cap again, which click the tail cap, press and hold, and it'll enter firefly mode and then off, and now your light is back on. The lockout mode is a good feature. Prevents kids from playing with it, because say this light will produce enough heat that it could unintentionally ignite something that's flammable if it was left turned on. So if you've got little kids around that might be playing with it, it might be a good idea to lock the light out. If I place it on top of this label, I bet it will turn the entire label black just from the heat from the light, and it won't take very long. Just focus the light on there and it'll turn it black. I can't even look at this, it's so bright. It's not touching the paper, it's just, I'm just holding it over top, and as you can see, it is heating the thermal paper up to the point where it's changing the color. Yeah, that's pretty warm. Anyway, not a toy, a tool. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching.